Yes.
Brooksby now takes advantage of a slip from Pete. Brooksby towards the edge of the area, cuts in field, takes a shot from distance. Wayne Brooksby with the left boot hits the bottom right hand corner, and the former Ferriby man comes back to haunt the side that he once played for.
Welcome along to Guiseley AFC Radio. Chris Bell here. Nik Keefe will be joining me very, very soon for tonight's full match build-up and coverage of Guiseley AFC versus Southport in the Vanarama National League, where we'll be bringing you the two team lineups as well for you fairly shortly. Just a reminder that both sides took just a point at the weekend. For Guiseley, a 0-0 draw on the south coast against Dover, and for Southport, a 2-goal throwaway as they drew 2-2 at the Shea. There is a new addition to the Guiseley lineup as well. We'll bring news on him very, very shortly.
Brooksby now on the edge of the 18-yard box, comes charging in, plays the ball across the face of goal. And it's Adam Morris who has scored Guiseley's third. Lions are in dreamland this evening.
So welcome along to Guiseley AFC Radio here at Nethermore for the visit of Southport FC. Of course, it was a radioless week on Saturday, but we are back on the airwaves, you'll be pleased to know, or maybe not quite so pleased to know, as the evening progresses. As I say, Guiseley did take a point away from the Crabble on Saturday. Not a bad point, I think you'll agree, on the road. As for Southport, they went down to 10 men at the point of being 2-0 up and threw it away to our local rivals. And of course, the victors against last Tuesday, FC Halifax Town. Of course, our man Colin Robertson was down there and was able to get some audio, starting with what starting with what manager Mark Bauer had to say post-match.
I'm joined now by Mark Bauer after the 0-0 draw at Dover. Mark, wasn't a pretty game of football, but was that a well-earned away point?
I think well earned from the point of view that the lads have absolutely worked their socks off and given absolutely everything for the cause, on the balance of play. I think that's probably the first time we've got more from a game than we probably deserved. They missed a couple of chances first half and hit the woodwork a couple of times second half, but the lads stuck at it, and when you got the spirit that they've got and that work ethic that they've got, then you'll get points like this. You'll pick up results where perhaps on the balance of play you don't deserve them, but kept going, and towards the end, we probably had two really good chances to actually nick it. But no, I mean, if you'd have offered us this week, Woking and Dover, two really established conference sides, being up pushing towards the playoffs for the last couple of years, with a local derby chucked in as well, to be unbeaten and pick up 5 points, I think is really good. Good clean sheet, no matter how it's come about. Some sort of from open play we defended poorly really, but when it got into our box, the last ditch defending was fantastic at times, and it was epitomised by Drench's double save, an absolutely unbelievable save to keep scorelines level at half time. So all in all, got to be pleased with a point, and sets us up nicely to go again on Tuesday night.
Yeah, you picked up my second question really, was because that first half save from Steve Drench was absolutely world class, wasn't it? An absolutely superb double save.
Yeah, he saved the free kick well. It's the second save, he gets up and gets his arm to that one, and not just gets his arm to it, just about catches it one-handed. It was an unbelievable save, and that's what he's there for. We know what he's all about, and pleased for him to get a clean sheet as well. He's not had one for a few weeks, and I know that goalkeepers thrive on clean sheets. It's a great clean sheet for Drenchy today.
And towards the end of the game, we felt from the stand that there was potential for a late penalty actually when Liam Dickinson seemed to be clipped in the area. Did you see the same?
Yeah, I thought he just fouled him really, just clipped him, and I thought it was a penalty. I thought maybe they had a shout as well for a handball. So I didn't think it was a Stonewall or some of the ones we've not had turned down, and you can understand why he's possibly not giving it. There's a bit of a tangle of legs, but no, the lads kept going, didn't let it affect us, and I think we had a chance just after that as well. But no, I can't really complain with the decision there.
Finally, Tuesday night, another important home game against a side struggling. Southport drew today 2-2. Thoughts ahead of that?
Well, there are no easy games at all in this league. It's so competitive. It's just relentless, never stops. You don't get that game where you can not take the foot off the gas, but there's nothing that you think, well, maybe we can rotate a little bit for this game. We've got to go out there and put in that same effort and work rate that we've done, particularly in the second half today. But just try and get on the ball a bit more. I thought in possession of the ball we gave it away a little bit too cheaply. Not brave enough to get a foot on the ball and try and pass it. But credit to them, they shut us down. They played a strange system where they man marked effectively, so the left back could be marking Wayne Brooksby. If Wayne Brooksby ran to the other side of the field, he went with him, which I've never really seen before, but it worked quite well for them, and they stopped us playing. So, but when they do that, you've got to stick in at the other end and put your bodies on the line, and the lads did that, and it'll certainly feel a relief bus, I think, going up with another point in the bag, and extends that unbeaten run to 5 games as well.
Thanks, Mark.
That's Mark Bauer there speaking to Colin Robertson after the goalless draw at the Crabble at Dover on Saturday. Dave Kendriss joined me for the build-up for this evening's game. Good evening, Dave. Are you well?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you, Chris. I'm very well. Pleased to be at Nethermore. It's just winter's kicking in a bit now, isn't it? I've had to put 2 layers on tonight.
I was about to say, I've done the same thing. I've doubled up on the layers tonight.
But there's something evocative about coming to a midweek football match. It's already, they're warming up under the floodlights. Now we've started. It's all very well this early season going to watch games, and you can go and watch it in your t-shirt because it's still warm enough.
I made that mistake last Tuesday, didn't I? So I've brought the hoodie out for this one.
You did. It wouldn't be September if you didn't misjudge the weather at least once and end up either freezing or absolutely boiling.
I'm not making that mistake again. We'll quickly run through the 2 team lineups for you. We'll start with the visitors, Southport. They've got a debutant keeper in John Viscosi. Then Matty Challoner, Liam Nolan, Josh Thompson, Andy Wright, the captain, Cole Stockton, Gary Jones, Paul Rutherford, Louis Armand, Andre Jones, and Ben Davis. On the bench, Courtney Cameron, Charlie Joyce, Jamie Allen, Will Beasley, and Andy Coughlin. For Guiseley, one debutant in the side. I touched on earlier, George Maris. We'll come to him in just a moment. They line up as follows: Steve Drench, Ryan Toulson, Danny Lowe, Adam Lockwood, the captain, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Will Hatfield, George Maris, Liam Dickinson, and Rob Atkinson. On the bench for the Lions, Adam Boyes, Tom Craddock, Dan Atkinson, Nicky Boschel, and Zach Thompson. So, Dave, we touched on that. George Maris, a new signing in the ranks for Mark Bauer, in on loan from Barnsley. That's about all I could get out of him, apart from the fact he's a winger/striker.
It's news to us because it's literally just happened today, hasn't it? So he's just come in today. He's a 19-year-old forward. He's from Barnsley. So there's, I reckon, Mark Bauer's given Andy Holdsworth a quick ring. You got anyone? So he's coming in. So he's still fairly young. He's looking for game time. More than that, we don't really know. We've got him down here on the left, but he might be, I suppose, looking at that team, he could either be starting on the left like Adam Boyes or Tom Craddock have been with Dicko up front, or he could be partnering Dicko up front.
Absolutely. From what we know as well, he's had a loan spell at Nuneaton, I believe, last season, which was relatively successful for him. So, fingers crossed. Mark's using his contacts well, obviously, with Andy Holdsworth moving to Barnsley. That may have helped secure this loan deal.
Well, why not? That's what you got to do at this level. You got to use your contacts. I believe I heard on the non-league show in last week, that the best managers are the managers that can, one hesitates to use the phrase wheel and deal, but it is basically that. It's using the it's a bit airy. Yeah, I've never seen Mark Bauer lean out of a car, Mark's got to use his contacts and get in who he can. Obviously, he thinks George Maris is worth a go. If he's the sort of player basically what Guiseley, I feel, have missed in the last few matches has been someone, and the thing that we've been consistently punished for is not taking our chances. So, if this kid's a goal poacher, then that's exactly what we need. If he only needs half a sniff at goal to score, that's what Guiseley do need.
It would be a very, very welcome addition, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And, of course, gives Boys and Craddock something else to think about.
Yes, because, with Boys and Craddock and Liam Dickinson, to be fair to Liam Dickinson, for me, he has been absolutely outstanding over the last month or so since he's been starting in what he's brought to the team. Not necessarily the goal scoring, though.
No, Dicko very, very quickly has become a club legend, and that performance against Halifax will be passed down from generation to generation, I'm fairly certain.
Took a little while for him, though, bless it.
Bless him, it took a little while for him.
It was Chorley, wasn't it? Chorley was the turning point.
I never had a bad word to say about his footballing. He was... Shush. Now... Yes, Liam Dickinson he's everything that he wasn't doing at the end of last season, he has been doing this season. He has been putting in the effort. He has, he tracked back something chronic on last Tuesday night.
He was absolutely shattered.
Absolutely everywhere. Ran himself into the ground. And ran himself into the ground against Woking as well on the Saturday before as well. Now, I didn't see the Dover game, but, I understand he came close to scoring there as well. So, he's really become quite quickly the figurehead of that team. But still... Over the last few games, I do feel like the pressure has started to build a little bit on Adam Boyes and Tom Craddock. As Craddock got one goal against Woking, then didn't score against Halifax, then didn't score against Dover, and suddenly everyone's going, well, hey, why have we got this player? He doesn't even score goals. Just bringing in somebody else just takes that little bit of pressure off him. He's not scoring goals because he's on the bench. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not saying he can't score goals. I'm just saying it just takes the pressure off him a little bit. He's not on the pitch from the start. He hasn't got that. He hasn't got the Guiseley fans breathing down his neck, waiting for him to score as much. Just gives him a little bit of breathing room. Just time to relax, settle into the side. He's still fairly new. He will get goals eventually. But this signing of George Maris, if it takes off, brilliant. If it just takes a bit of pressure off Tom Craddock, brilliant.
Absolutely. We'll have a quick look at Southport as well, because speaking of strikes on loan, they've got a man who, at the Football League level, for still a young lad of 21, 22 years old, Cole Stockton, is somebody that is capable of scoring goals. And then, of course, there is a name which is famous in these parts around here, not too far away at Bradford, Gary Jones, the number 11, a club legend for Bradford. I've been speaking to a few Bradford fans lately, and, he was only there for 2 seasons, but they absolutely idolise him, and they've put him in Bradford's all-time City 11. That's how highly they rate him. And I've got friends that are Rochdale fans as well, and he's just been a legend wherever he goes. He's getting on a bit, let's be honest. He's 38, but at this level, is that kind of experience do you think you'd need in the centre of the park for a club like Southport?
Certainly, you need someone in that centre of the park who's willing to put their foot on the ball and try and find the pass. We've got something similar in someone like Danny Boschel.
Absolutely.
At this level, you just need someone. It can get quite frantic and quite scrappy very quickly at this level, and you just need somebody to just put their foot on the ball, find the right pass, keep possession of the football. And if Gary Jones is doing that for Southport, then that's exactly what they need. I don't know. I won't lie, I don't know much about Cole Stockton, but I like his name. He sounds like a jazz musician.
He's a man with 2 surnames, though.
It's like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Cole Stockton!
Woo!
Cock on again.
Very quickly, you completely lost you, haven't you? Very quickly, finally touching on Gary Jones.
Yes.
I do believe that a section of the Bradford City Supporters Club and the fans are coming down here tonight, basically to show their appreciation to Gary Jones.
Brilliant, that's fantastic. And of course, well, the more fans the merrier, why not?
We'll take
that around.
Money.
It looks like a fairly decent turnout tonight, actually. To say, we had 1,200 last week, but it was Halifax.
Yeah.
That was always going to get us a good following. But I see little pockets of Southport support here tonight, and I can actually see the Bradford fans on the opposite side to us. If that's them,
Yeah.
They've got a little Bradford. Is that a little
Scarf,
Bradford shirt or a scarf or
that.
something like that on the far side?
I believe they'll be dotted around, but as I say, it's
we'll say
great
hello
to
to them. They'll be listening to us later, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So we'll quickly run through the 2 team lineups whilst we get Nik Keefe into the commentary position. So I'll start with Southport. Debuting goalkeeper John Viscosi in goal. Then Matty Challoner, Liam Nolan, Josh Thompson, Andy Wright, the captain, Cole Stockton, Gary Jones, Paul Rutherford, Louis Armand, Andre Jones and Ben Davis on the bench. Courtney Cameron, Charlie Joyce, Jamie Allen, Will Beasley and Andy Conklin. For Guiseley, then up as follows: Steve Drench, Ryan Toulson, Danny Lowe, Adam Lockwood, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Will Hatfield, George Maris, Liam Dickinson and Rob Atkinson. On the bench, Adam Boyes, Tom Craddock, Dan Atkinson, Nicky Boschel and Zach Thompson. Well, Nik Keefe is in position alongside me. Good evening, Nick.
I hope your paperwork's in order, Chris.
I think you'll find it always has been.
Well, there must be some serious public liability insurance to cover a press bench with this high an average BMI.
I don't know what you're implying. I wish that was a joke. First things first.
I floored you. You're clean shaven and I floored you before you've even started.
First things first. Welcome. It's your season debut, isn't it?
It is.
In the commentary position.
It is.
Have you finally got a bit of optimism?
And possibly swan song as well, given how it started.
Have you finally got a bit of optimism after the playoff final?
Well, I mean, in fairness, part of the reason I haven't been down here was the repeated shakedowns I've got from the coaches and staff for how miserable I was in the playoff final commentary that unfortunately they all bought the DVD of and listened back to. So I've been keeping a safe distance until it looked like we were on the up.
I'll be honest. I did go into the club shop 3-4 weeks ago to purchase the DVD, and whilst I was there, I was like, we got the guy that sold me was, don't listen to the commentary. It's awful. They're so pessimistic. It's the most pessimistic thing I've ever heard in my life.
And in fairness to us at the time, we were.
I said this to him.
We were in our 5th consecutive round of playoffs, staring down defeat, and starting to believe that there was an actual glass ceiling that would stop Guiseley from progressing beyond Conference North level, no matter how hard we tried. But we were all proved wrong, and it was a great day. And since then, the second choice centre back we signed from Staley Bridge is now the focal point of our attack, isn't he, Liam Dickinson? And everything's changed.
Absolutely. Well, the two sides are now making their way out onto the pitch here at Nethermore. It will be Guiseley versus Southport in the Vanarama National League. Southport in a rather striking away kit. It's fair to say we won't be able to miss them.
No, I assume they've sent a highway robber out and stolen the clothes from about 10 passing cyclists.
It is very, very illuminous.
It's good, isn't it? It's
glow in the dark. Yeah.
I like how they're actually playing an interesting formation in that one of their players, as far as I can see, is in the camera gantry.
Yes, that's Michael giving us a wave now after he's heard that.
That's great. Okay, so the traffic wardens are lining up and Guiseley are shaking their hands. It's an interesting team actually tonight, Guiseley.
Absolutely. We'll quickly run through the two team lineups for you now, starting with Guiseley. Steve Drench, Ryan Tilson, Danny Lowe, Adam Lockwood, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Will Hatfield, George Maris, Liam Dickinson and Rob Atkinson. On the bench, Adam Boyes, Tom Craddock, Dan Atkinson, Nicky Boschel and Zach Thompson. And for Southport, John Viscosi, Matty Challoner, Liam Nolan, Josh Thompson, Andy Wright, Cole Stockton, Gary Jones, Paul Rutherford, Louis Almond, Andre Jones and Ben Davis. And on the bench for the Sandgrounders, Courtney Cameron, Charlie Joyce, Jamie Allen, Will Beasley and Andy Coughlin.
Yeah, so I understand the lad who's just come in from Barnsley is basically the direct competition to Wayne Brooksby that we're going to give a try for a while. And I think it's fair to say we've not had enough winger type players at the start of the season. Really, only Wayne can play that role. Gavin Rothery had a couple of goes on the left wing at the beginning of the season, but it's never been his very strongest position. So Wayne has been the only one like that we've had, and it's why we've seen Tom Craddock, Adam Boyes, even Dickinson drifting out and playing wide. That really doesn't suit them either. So we'll have a look at this young lad, see if he's any good, and who knows, if he turns out to be a prospect, we might get to keep him for a little while on loan.
Absolutely. As we say, the players have been tried and tested there, and Nicky Boschel's probably had the most time perhaps out on that left-hand side, but as you say, he put in a few good performances early in the season, but then he's kind of dropped away slightly.
Well, he's not a natural winger, I don't think, is Nicky, and I think he would say he'd rather play through the middle up front. He does bring a bit of balance with his left wing, with his being left-footed, on the left wing. As we just get ready for this to start.
It will be Guiseley to kick us off with Will Hatfield and that man Wayne Brooksby looking to take the kick-off when the referee gets us underway. The officials for tonight, Stephen Rushton is the referee, and then his assistants John Matthews and Rebecca Welch. So final thoughts ahead of this game, Nick?
Well, I thought, this is a game that would be an excellent one to try and pick up 3 points in against relegation form opposition. And obviously, we know there's absolutely no easy games in the division. I expect it to be very competitive.
Absolutely. As the ball sent forward towards Liam Dickinson, he loses out on the header, and Southport look to come forward through Paul Rutherford. The good little bit of a run. Man's Cole Stockton. He pulls it back to Gary Jones. Of course, the former Bradford City man wearing the number 11 shirt for Southport, but guys to do well, win possession back. And it's George Maris's first touches of the ball in a Guiseley shirt. Plays the ball back to Toulson. That goes all the way back to Stephen Drench. Of course, a former Southport player himself, Stephen Drench. One of 2 in the squad, along with Steve Dickinson, who I believe made over 250 appearances for Southport in his time, but sadly for him, he's not made the bench. Dan Atkinson is on the bench as the number 2 keeper. Steve Drench goes long, nobody there, and that's going to go all the way through to the debutant goalkeeper, John Viscosi.
Not much as you were saying about Gary Jones being a legend at 2 clubs. That's also the role of Steve Dickinson. He's had good long stays at both. Now in his 40s, obviously very much the third choice keeper here, and now part of the coaching setup. But well thought of and fondly remembered by both sets of fans.
Absolutely. Cole Stockton looks to try and get in behind the guys' line, but the flag has gone up for offside. Just a minute and 20 gone so far. It's not been a particularly lively start. It's been a little bit long ball from both sides, perhaps.
Yeah, and interesting to look how they're lining up. Will Hatfield looks like he's going to be, as we've seen in recent weeks, pushing ahead of the other 2 midfielders, Boschel and Lawler. Obviously, happy to sit quite a bit deeper. So that means Hatfield playing in behind Dickinson.
Yeah, it's very much the 4-2-3-1 as Hatfield nods the ball down to Maris. Now with Lawler. Now Hatfield again gets the edge of the 18-yard box. Tries to play the 1-2 with Boschel. The flag on the far side goes up for a foul. No, it's the offside decision that goes against Guiseley.
And I guess thinking about this young man, George Maris, we've seen a few young players come through here on loan in the last few years, and it's very difficult playing your first few competitive games. He's got not to try and show too much in the early stages. He's got to play his game. He's not out here to sort of catch anyone's eye in the first 10 minutes. He's got a role to play out here on the left, and he's got to be a little bit patient and wait for the ball to come his way, and just try to do the simple things right when they do come to him.
Also, of course, the second loanee I think that we've had this season. The first one, though, in Charles.
It was
Jake
Jake Charles, yeah. Well,
he never made an appearance.
Perfect example, a well thought of young prospect who he's been brought in and quite quickly decided he's not really ready to play a competitive role at this level of football, and it's very difficult for players to be brought through by clubs. And picking the right loan move is really tricky. We've seen that with our own academy players. We've seen them go to clubs where they've gained experience that hasn't benefited them, or equally that they haven't been ready for the first team out. And it's a tricky business.
So as the ball is played forward by Adam Lockwood. It's just been dealt with comfortably, though, by Southport.
And I suppose that was why Greg Dyke made the recommendation that he did of teams starting to have B-sides that played in the league pyramid and the non-league pyramid, or sort of in between the two as well, just as a way of getting...
Well, Will Hatfield looks to come away now. He's played it over to George Maris on this left-hand side. Cuts in field, got 3 illuminous yellow shirts ahead of him. In the end, just loses the ball. It's cleared away by Southport. And now with Armand, former Blackpool and Accrington player. Just coming down this right side, does well up against Danny Lowe, goes down, referee waves play on. Fair tackle from Danny Lowe. It's cleared away to Hatfield. Hatfield now finds Danny Boschel. He spreads it across to Ryan Toulson. But as you were saying, Nick, sorry, the idea that Greg Dyke had of the leagues in between leagues almost, it wasn't for me. Maybe I'm a bit too traditional, but the idea, I think, is the right idea in terms of competitive football for them.
And it would be disastrous for clubs like ours and like Southport at the top of non-league football to find themselves effectively shoved two divisions lower by the creation of all these extra teams. But it is a problem that exists throughout football, is how do you get your young players first team competitive experience? Because the academy football, I'm afraid, is nice to watch, but it's really not competitive. It's you get a lot more time on the ball, a lot less discipline in tactics, and frankly, they come through all levels, right through to the Premier League. A lot of young players come through looking like boys up against men.
Ball now with Rob Atkinson. He looks to go along to find Liam Dickinson, but it's been defended well by Southport with Rutherford. Now to Armand, now inside to Gary Jones. He plays the long ball forward. It's an excellent little ball forward as well. Through towards Andre Jones. He goes down. I think he was claimed that had been clipped by Stephen Drench, who had come out. But the referee waves play on. Now, Hatfield it is that goes down after making the forward run.
Yeah, he's made a really lively start, actually, as Will Hatfield. I think this position just in behind, with a bit of space in front of the midfield, a little bit behind Liam Dickinson, really suits him. But just going back to the incident at the other end, Drench quick off his line as always. But you do have a heart and mouth moment when you see a player go down under challenge from a goalkeeper. I think it was the right decision.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? But we'll agree with the referee on this one. Free kick now comes in. Met by a Guiseley head, but nobody there to get the second ball. That's cleared away. In fact, the offside flag on that far side goes up when the ball had been cleared well away.
Well, it suits Guiseley, that, because neither Atkinson or Lockwood was making particularly quick progress back towards defence, and Southport maybe had an opportunity on the break, but obviously the referee decided to pull them back.
So we've played 6.5 minutes here at Nethermore. Guiseley 0, Southport 0 in the Vanarama National League. Adam Lockwood gets his head into it, tries to send it out to this left-hand side where Maris is tussling with Challoner, but the ball goes out, throwing taken by Challoner. Plays the 1-2, then looks to get the ball down the line towards Jones. Now Stockton, down by the corner play, he's got two white shirts around him. I think he's gone out for a Guiseley throw by the looks of it. I'm not 100% sure, but it's hard to see.
No, well, we've got low out of view, haven't we? So I assume he's taking the throw in.
The throw in has been taken. It's come all the way back now to the Southport number 8, Andy Wright, the centre half and captain. Now with Josh Thompson, former Rochdale and former Celtic youngster. He also had spells in League One with Colchester. Now Rutherford making a good run forward, not afraid to take on Guiseley players. Now Challoner. This comes back to Nolan. Now Gary Jones. Still with Gary Jones. Liam Nolan again. A real mix of youth and experience in the centre of the park for Southport. Gary Jones, 38 years of age, many hundred league appearances. With Liam Nolan, a youngster who was at Crewe Alexandra. Poor ball from Liam Dickinson out to that right-hand side, looking to find Brooksby.
It was an attempt at an outrageous pass off the top of the foot by Liam Dickinson, but he got way too much underneath it.
The kind of ball that Football League players might read.
Well, it was a really nice idea, and if it had landed just ahead of Brooksby, so that he could have taken it in his stride, he would have turned that defender and left them standing. But it's such a hard pass to try and pull off.
Ball sent back to Stephen Drench. Now it's time to put it down before sending it long up towards Dickinson. Dickinson does get his head on it, but can only knock it out for a throw. He's really following a bit of a cult following this season, Liam Dickinson. 2 goals so far this season, both from the penalty spot. Ball comes in from Gary Jones, overhit, and never troubling the Guiseley defence or Stephen Drench.
No, I came with a friend last week who hadn't been to see Guiseley for a couple of seasons, an ex-non-league footballer himself, and he said after about 10 minutes of Dickinson, he looks like he'll be coming off soon, he's exhausted. And at the end of 90 minutes, he looked every bit as tired as he did at the end of 10. And it makes him quite an unlikely sort of player to watch, really. He looks like he might be ready to come off any moment. Actually, making a position for himself in this team. You know, we're needing someone to lead the line, finding ourselves having to clear the ball a little bit more, and not being able to play out quite as much as we could in the previous division. And he's shown he's willing to bring people into play, and with two wide players either side of him, and Hatfield, he's been very busy so far. It's potentially a promising setup.
Absolutely, it's fair to say the opening 3-4 games of the season when Dickinson wasn't starting, and it was Boys or Cranach, both of them good footballers themselves, but in terms of that holding the ball up, trying to bring others into play, they both just lack that capability to a degree.
Well, Adam Boys leads the line in a very different way, doesn't he? He challenges from the front. He gets in a lot of sliding tackles and presses all the way through the game. Tom Craddock looks like someone who really benefits from playing in a front two, and so actually he looks like he could play quite well with Dickinson. But Mark Bauer's got the problem of who do you spare from midfield if you're going to play two up front?
Absolutely. Now the ball with Hatfield on the right-hand side, brings it towards the Southport 18-yard box. Now the ball into the penalty area to find Wayne Brooksby. He's got two defenders ahead of him. Goes to get the cross in. In the end, goes out off a Southport man for a Guiseley corner.
Nice move that from Guiseley, forcing the pace a little bit sharper on the ball, moving, passing into tighter spaces, and obviously winning them a corner.
So the corner comes in, right-footed. Likes of Atkinson are there. Thompson goes up. The referee's seen something in there and it's giving the free kick in Southport's favour. Couldn't see a thing for me.
You know those challenges that referees say, well, we can't give them because we'd give about 100 a game. Well, that was one of them.
Absolutely. Didn't seem to be anything in that for me. That said, I was slightly struggling to see because of all the glare off the Southport shirts.
Well, they are very high vis, aren't they? But no, there wasn't a lot of action off the ball. There weren't tussles or people running around trying to lose each other in the box. Not like you see from a lot of corners.
So goal kick for Southport.
I have to say, I hate to see all of that stuff, the shirt grabbing and the nonsense that happens before a set piece, though. So I wouldn't be against referees clamping down on it, just not maybe unannounced.
It's one thing clamping down on that, but as we said, there was absolutely nothing happening in the box there as the ball came in. Free kick taken for Guiseley very quickly by Stephen Drench, trying to get Wayne Brooksby down the right-hand side, just a little bit too long. Right idea if they'd have got Brooksby in behind, but it didn't work out.
A smart idea, wasn't it? And Guiseley have shown willing to try more direct moves, the odd ball into channels or the longer pass to the head of Dickinson in recent weeks. I guess that's part of the if you're being realistic, that's what we're going to have to do a little bit of sometimes, just to switch things up. Otherwise, you don't want to be the team who plays really nice football but is a bit of a soft touch and goes down, do you? It's similar. I'm not comparing as similar sort of challenge to what Bournemouth are facing this season in the Premier League. A nice footballing team who are going to have to grind out some results as well.
Yeah, quite right. To be fair, I mean, you look at the sides that have gone down from this league. There's some fairly decent sized clubs in amongst there that tried to play the ball down on the ground, but it's come back to bite them, frankly. As Guiseley do well to win a throw in a very dangerous position.
I think Mark would always like to play good football, but the old defender in him knows that first thing is security of staying up, and you don't achieve that by leaking goals.
Throwing now for Guiseley. Ryan Toulson will take launch in towards the 18-yard box, headed away at the first attempt by Southport. Nobody there in a Guiseley shirt to try and launch the back in. It's cleared further away by Southport. Now the ball picked up by Nolan. Just knocked forward. Danny Boschel goes down under pressure from Cole Stockton, and the free kick is given.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of a naughty challenge under the high ball. That
he seems to just fall on him, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it, actually.
So free kick taken by Atkinson over towards the right hand side. Now with Brooksby. Inside to Lawler. Lawler finds Boschel. Boschel with a good little pass into Brooksby. Now, can Boschel get it across? He can to find George Maris. Still, Maris up against three. Tried to go for goal, but I think a deflection takes most of the pace of it. And in the end, it just goes straight into the hands of the goalkeeper, John Viscosi.
Good move again, though. That was when Guiseley started to play some first-time balls. Really, really whips up the pace of the move when you move the ball quickly from man to man like that, and out Southport on the heels. Good opportunity for George Maris to try and get a ball in, but he had two defenders in front of him, and he couldn't beat them.
Just a note on discipline, Southport have had 5 red cards this season. 2 of them have come for the number 18, Andrew Jones. He's accumulated a 7-match suspension already this season.
Wow, that's
impressive.
Genuinely impressive in a sad sort of way.
So it wouldn't surprise me, let's be fair, to see a red card in this game. You don't want to see them, but speaking to some of the colleagues from Southport earlier on, and they were saying that, frankly, every one of the red cards has been stupid and needless.
Well, that is going to cause you problems over the course of the season, isn't it? Poor discipline in the team. That's something they're going to want to get hold of quite quickly.
Here is Andrew Jones linking up with Rutherford. Rutherford looking to get through a crowd of players. Instead, goes back. Gary Jones spreads it over to the left-hand side with Ben Davis, the Preston Low League. Now back to Jones. Inside to the number 4 of Liam Nolan. Now Thompson. Andrew Jones again. Shannon's first time ball forward isn't a great one, but Southport are looking to make something of it. The ball goes forward, looking to find Stockton. It rolls out for a goal kick.
Obviously, we're not immune to discipline problems ourselves. Obviously, Colin's serving a 1-match ban tonight after his behaviour in Southport, in Dover even.
Yeah, that's why we've had to call on the reserves, haven't they, in the form of you and me.
Desperation. Desperation. There was a very plump bat sign went up.
Speak for yourself.
I am doing. I am.
Oh, it's a good job we know we're joking. Ball forward from Southport. Rob Atkinson, bit of a tussle there with the Southport man. The ball goes forward.
And as you laugh, the whole bench shakes.
And now we're being photographed. This is going on the Guiseley AFC Radio Twitter page, which links me nicely to the fact that if you want to get in touch with us and let us know your thoughts on the game, you can do so via Twitter. Preferably pleasant tweets, not ones about, strength of benches and such.
We haven't told them much about the game, to be fair. There's not been masses happening.
Yeah, it's not been a classic so far in this opening 17 minutes. Late challenge there. Oh, the guy's next Wayne Brooksby that's gone down. Referee, I think he's going to have a word with the Southport man. I think it's Ben Davis, the left back, that the referee is just going to have a word with. There'll be nothing more than that. And a free kick for Guiseley it will be. Don't forget, on Saturday, Guiseley travel to Braintree, all the way down to Essex. That's going to be a long day.
I hope you've all done your paperwork. We don't want. we can't have a repeat incident.
Liam Dickinson does well, wins a free kick. A couple of yards outside the Southport 18-yard box, very much on the right-hand side.
A dangerous position, this. Obviously, centre-back straight into the box. Guys, they do have that advantage of height now. We're not a particularly tall team, but we have, as well as the 2 defenders, obviously Jake Lawler, the very tallest player in the team, and Liam Dickinson when he's playing as well. That's 4 bodies that Southport really need to keep an eye on in the box.
Absolutely. The likes of Lawler, Atkinson, Maris is in there as well. Liam Dickinson.
With that being said, I think Dickinson's taking the free kick, isn't he, actually?
I was just thinking myself, he's not there. Oh, wait, he's going to try and take this. It's either Dickinson or Brooksby. It is Dickinson. That is absolutely fantastic. Liam Dickinson, right-footed, around the wall, beyond the goalkeeper. 1-0 to the Lions.
Well, he calls it the side foot of doom, and that was a great free kick. I don't know how he's beaten the keeper. He's curled that around the edge of the box, and then it's pinged off of the back of the net, rolled across to the back corner. That is a lovely one to watch go in. And he's a bit of a set-piece specialist now after his 2 recent penalties. The cult status continues for the big man.
The side foot of doom.
That's what he called it on Twitter the other week after his first penalty. Side foot of doom.
I think he's been working on it because that was absolutely excellent.
Well, he's got his new pink boots on.
That's how we can tell he's pro. Pink boots.
Yes, that'll be it. And it's woken the crowd up, hasn't it? There's a real hubbub of almost amusement in the ground. He is quite an improbable looking character, isn't he?
I don't know what you're trying to say. Dickinson gets this flick on.
I was about to be all smart about, having your tall player outside the box, wasting your focal striker by having him taking the cross into the box. Even AD on the tannoy sounds surprised at the goal we've just seen.
Announcing the golden goal. Maybe that was it. Maybe Liam Dickinson had that 17-minute ticket. Either that or one of his relatives, perhaps.
Further increasing the sense that he plays when he wants to.
If there's money at stake, we're all. I am, of course, joking. There is no need to.
Is mixed golden goal competition officially licensed?
I don't know, but I'm slightly worried that this could go down as match fixing now as Wayne Brooksby looks to try and come forward on the right hand side. It's been defended well by Southport and cleared away by Andy Wright. I mean, I suppose it's technically still gambling.
Well, and for the record, we have no reason to think he's entered in it, or anyone he knows.
In case someone's listening, this is an entirely fictional story that we are just making up as we go along.
Yeah,
Not the match.
There's no players here or anything.
The match is happening, and Liam Dickinson has scored a cracking free kick. I cannot wait to see that in the highlights video, to be fair, from that angle.
Yeah, that's going to look great.
Or it's going to look like the keeper should have done better. Either way, it was excellent from where we're sitting, and that's how we're going to say it.
Absolutely.
So Guiseley leading 21 minutes on the clock. And Liam Dickinson is the man that's given us the lead.
Sorry, Chris, all joking aside, this isn't a position the Lions have been in often this season, having to defend a lead.
Now Rutherford going down the left-hand side, does well, turns, gets in field. Excellent tackle from Rob Atkinson. He's done very, very well there. So it was one of those positions where if he gets the tackle wrong, he's giving away a certain penalty. As Liam Dickinson goes in for a challenge that looked worse than it actually was, I think, at first.
Well, it was perfectly timed, and that's how he got away with it. And
it's just when you see somebody's with the stature, I think, of Liam Dickinson, it'd be like being hit with a train. Let's face it, a slide tackle from Liam Dickinson.
It would be, and we've just seen two challenges there: the Atkinson in the box and Dickinson to win the ball back up front that typify that sort of spirit we've seen amongst Guiseley in recent weeks. People have been leaving everything out there on the pitch to try and get results.
So throwing now for Southport, midway inside the Guiseley half. The ball comes all the way back to the right back, Matty China. And he's forced to give it back to Andy Wright. Now the ball over on this right-hand side with Jones. That's Andrew Jones. He wins the throw-in. Challoner takes it. Plays the 1-2 with Liam Nolan. Tries to get the ball infield, goes out of play off Will Hatfield for another throw.
Struggling to fit my team sheet here in the dugout with the Guiseley stuffed cow animal toy
cow?
thing.
It's a lion.
Do you think? Shouldn't a lion have a mane?
In what possible sense is that a cow?
Well, might be
that's a mane.
Look, a fox with a squash nose.
This is suddenly. We'll get a picture uploaded, by the way. I don't think we've got a name for him yet, by the way, so we can still do a Name the Lion competition. And it is a lion, not a cow.
Carl.
Carl the lion.
Carl the cow.
He's not a cow. He's a lion. Stop.
I'm sorry, I'm ruining your commentary.
Stop lying to the listeners.
Hey! Oh, God. Is it Christmas already?
Oh, Colin goes away for one game.
Oh, he's only sat in front of us. He's dying inside listening to it, though.
Oh, dear.
Good.
Now Southport in possession midway inside the Guiseley half. Now with Nolan. Ball played forward. Cleared away well by Guiseley up towards Liam Dickinson. Dickinson just using his strength up against Wright. Doesn't lose it and lunges in. That could be a booking. I'm not surprised. It will be a booking for Liam Dickinson. He lost control of the ball, dived in. little bit desperately, if I'm honest, and I'm not surprised to see Liam Dickinson pick up the first yellow card.
Well, yeah, that's the other side of the coin to the one we saw a few minutes ago. If you don't time it right, it's a definite yellow card. He's no reason to complain too much. He was trying to win the ball back, as you say, Chris, that he lost himself. But it was a bit over exuberant, and if he'd had half a second more to think about it, I think he would have probably stayed on his feet.
Yeah, there's a long way to go. We've only got 25 minutes on the clock, so there's a long way to go for Liam Dickinson with a booking to his name. And in the last couple of games as well, he's played the full 90.
Yeah. And,
which, as we said before, is surprising given that after 10 minutes he looks shattered.
Yeah, I think it's all part of his charm. But with 2 strikers on the bench today, I think Mark would rather, when Liam leaves the pitch, if he does tonight, it would be in a substitution rather than a red card.
Absolutely no point in risking him with the likes of Adam Boyes and Tom Craddock sat on the bench. Free kick comes in. Liam Dickinson is there to semi-head it away. And it's cleared down the line. Maris up against China, hoofed out and down the line. In fact, it's a really good ball. I thought it was going to be going straight out of play, but it hasn't been. And Danny Lowe with a couple of cheeky little kick-ups. Gets it away, but gives it straight to Gary Jones. Both sides struggling to maintain possession for very long.
Yeah, it was lovely work by Danny Lowe. Flicked it up, turned round, cleared it on as it came back down.
It's a bit too casual for my liking in that position, though.
Yeah, it was a proper Pro Evo.
You do that if you're on Pro Evo or FIFA against somebody when you're 4-0 up, though.
Yeah.
Not at 1-0.
No, not so much.
Now Will Hatfield making a long busting run to get forward. He's got Dickinson to his left. He finds him. Turns back. He's got the strength to hold off a defender. Finds Danny Boschel now. Dickinson makes his way into the box. The ball back with Boschel. Now with George Maris. Had a bit of space to turn into. Instead looks to play the 1-2 with Will Hatfield. The ball slipped through towards the edge. Apparently it comes to Hatfield. First time shot. Always going away from goal.
I assume George Maris is a left-footed player, but even if not, that would have been a very, very difficult volley to take on his right. He's got his head in his hands. I think he's being a little bit harsh on himself there. Needed really good timing to get his foot through that and direct it towards goal.
Yeah, he didn't look overly keen, though, did he, to try and bring it down and get it under control in that position. He was much more keen to pass it on to a teammate.
You don't get many opportunities on the edge of the box with no defender directly in front of you, and I think he wanted to take it first time.
Now Guiseley picking up possession in the centre of the park. Here's Hatfield once again making an excellent run forward. Pulls it back to Danny Lowe, coming up from left back in support. Of course, Ben Parker out of the squad tonight. Danny Boschel. With time to try and pick out a pass. Looks to find Liam Dickinson. Doesn't quite get it right. It's cleared away. And then Thompson will give that back to the Southport goalkeeper. Clears it downfield. Lockwood does well, under pressure from Louis Armand. Now right. Again, looking to find the run of Armand, but Atkinson does well, gets in the way. Guiseley looking just to try and keep possession for a little bit, because as I say, both sides have struggled. Almost looked a little bit too keen to try and get the ball forward as quickly as possible, and that's cost them possession. Now with Lowe. Back to Lockwood, just outside the Guiseley 18-yard box. Goes across to Atkinson. Toulson drops back. Atkinson opts to go long instead, looking to find Brooksby. Headed away by Southport. Now Gary Jones on the ball.
I have no problem with the patient build-up from Guiseley. Let Southport do a bit of running.
That's an excellent ball from Danny Boschel to Danny Lowe on the halfway line. He looks to lift it forward. George Maris is doing well to get there. His touch is a bit heavy, but he's kept it in play. Oh. Well, the assistant on his near side has said that went out to me. He kept that in. I thought he'd done very well. He'd made a poor touch, it has to be said, but I thought he'd done very well to keep that in.
Yeah, and it was a really good pass to put him through. It was a shame to see that move fizzle out, but there's another one looking promising now.
Yep, with Will Hatfield. He finds Danny Lowe. Back inside now to Danny Boschel. Short pass to Hatfield. Ball over on the left-hand side. 29 minutes gone here at Nethermore. Guiseley 1, Southport 0 here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Your commentary team, Chris Bell and Nik Keefe. Now, Danny Lowe looks to get a ball into the 18-yard box. It bounces across. Instead, finds Lawler. Lawler to Brooksby. Hatfield moves it out to the right-hand side. Bit of space to Ryan Toulson. Instead, he plays it short for Brooksby. Lawler tries to get it into the path, but Brooksby wasn't quite there. In the end, though, Brooksby's running, does well, forces the defender to put it out for a throw.
No, it's good patient pressure from Guiseley. They had a couple of opportunities to have a shot on goal. Jake Lawler turned one down in particular. I thought it was too far out. But actually, it's good possession play, and it's got Southport camped right inside their own area at the moment.
So a throw-in now for Guiseley. 3 or 4 yards away from the corner flank. Long throw comes in from Toulson, flicked on by Liam Dickinson, but it's just rolled straight through to the keeper's hands. John Friskowski in his unusually pleasant shade of purple, perhaps.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a cartoon character.
As one
taking down the rival small-time media.
Yeah.
One local
What was
paper at a time.
The East Kent.
Oh, they were all right, to be fair.
Yeah, but they did claim that Stephen Drench looked like a cartoon in a purple kit.
Yeah.
Christ knows what they'll make of John Visconti's kit tonight.
Couple of suggestions. How about Lawler the Lion? Like that. We've already got one of those, haven't we? That's from Stuart. Beverly Dickinson, she says, "Get in there, son." So
Literally, I think.
Bit of. So assume you know who your parents are.
Any further suggestions?
And a good solid reaction to the to Dickinson goal generally. I think he's a popular man now, isn't he? After that heroic second half at Chorley.
Absolutely. What a performance! I'll be telling my grandkids about that one.
I honestly barely remember it. I think I'd gone to my happy place at half time and just given up on it all.
Certainly sounded it from the commentary.
Fair.
Good flick on from Wayne Brooksby. Finds Dickinson on the halfway line. Brooksby's touch is a heavy one, though. And he had a chance, if he could have gotten that under control, to just bear down on John Viscosi's goal. Boschel looks to flick it towards Hatfield. Hatfield does very well there by picking up possession from a poor pass from Danny Boschel. Then Maris loses it, but Hatfield again is there to win it back. He's absolutely
such a good
everywhere.
engine, Will Hatfield. He's been everywhere so far in this game. And he has the benefit when he's going forward of playing between the lines. But actually that means if he's going to contribute to defending, he's got to do all the work of a second striker and all the work of another central midfielder. And he's doing it really well.
I've said it a few times, I think, this season, especially at the early stage of it for me, when Will Hatfield was in the starting lineup, but he was being played at right back. It was such a waste. Such a waste.
And I think that the idea was to have a look at Zach Thompson, who had a reputation as a tough player to play against in midfield. But, actually, Hatfield brings a bit of creativity and he's very mobile as well. As I say, that's kind of new. It's sort of a bit like what Gavin Rothery would do there, but he's a little bit more of a physical presence in midfield as well.
Danny Lowe now in possession, midway inside the Lions half. Looks to get the long ball forward. Liam Dickinson up against Josh Thompson. In the end, Thompson goes for the safety first approach and just puts that out for a corner.
A good pressure from Dickinson there. The centre-back had no option but to play it out.
He's certainly playing like a man who is really enjoying his football at the moment, Liam Dickinson.
Absolutely, and actually, you know, I wonder when it was the last time he had a run of first-team starts as a striker at any club. It's a while since he's been at a first try. As I say, he was playing centre-back when we last saw him at Stalybridge, the last club he came to before us.
Corner comes in from Brooksby. It was met by a Guiseley head, but there was no real direction on it, and Gary Jones has just been able to clear that away for Southport. The ball switched from Rutherford all the way across this right-hand side, looking to find Darman, but Danny Lowe just nods that back to Steve Drench.
And he is a striker with all of the tools, and we saw him, I think, a season before, the year before we signed him from Stalybridge, playing up front, and I forget who for, but he bullied our
Stockport?
defence. I think it might, yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah, you're right. And I saw him bully Danny Ellis that day, and that's not something I've ever said before.
Brooksby putting Matty Chandler under a lot of pressure. In the end, has gone back to Viscosi, who clears it away. Now Danny Boschel, though, Guiseley picking up possession quickly. As soon as I say that, though, Jake Lawler gives it away. It's a good touch from Cole Stockton to keep possession for Southport. was going to say, coming back to Liam Dickinson for the final time. We won't bang him out too much. We've still done quite like that already.
Well, he's going to miss 3 sitters now before the end of the game after all of this.
It's all right with a free kick like that. As long as somebody else puts it in this game, we're all right. There's now Southport look to come forward. Rutherford still charging. Comes to Gary Jones. Jones goes for goal straight in the hands of Steve Drench. That will have pleased, though, the visiting Bradford City fans here to show their appreciation to the Southport number 11.
Yeah, no, it was a shot that had a lot of power behind it. It was straight at the keeper. That's the first time Drench, I think, has had to make a save so far. He's come off his line a couple of times sharply. And that's the first time he's been called into action with his hands in goal.
What I was going to refer to about Liam Dickinson was I remember seeing him play for Stockport as he does very, very well there to get around the fullback. He's doing with torrid time so far. Ben Davis is in a good battle with Dickinson. Davis does win that one. The ball is out for a Southport goal kick. Yeah, I remember covering a Brentford Park Avenue match at Stockport on Boxing Day. It was a 4-1 victory for Stockport. Dickinson scored twice and had possibly one of the best performances I think I've ever seen from a striker. He was absolutely unplayable that day.
Well, he's a complete enigma then, isn't he? I've just seen him skin a left back for pace and then be so bewildered by the experience that he sort of stood still and let 2 people come and take the ball off him.
Bewildered by the experience.
Sorry, we've got slightly different vocab to Colin.
No, I was just thinking I'll let you try and tell him what you think of that.
No.
Throwing now for Guiseley. 10 yards inside the Southport half. Ball back to Rob Atkinson. Atkinson's first time ball up towards Dickinson. Chests it down well. Just unfortunate for him that Brooksby couldn't quite get the second ball on the free kick. In fact, has gone against Brooksby for presumably just a high foot. Seemed a bit 6 to 1, half a dozen of the other for me, though.
Slightly high foot. I think it was just the fact that as he was bringing it down, his studs clipped the shin of the Southport player. So I agree with the referee in the free kick.
36.5 minutes gone. Guiseley 1, Southport 0 here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Myself, Chris Bell, alongside me, Nik Keefe, with commentary of this game. Don't forget, get in touch on Twitter at Guiseley AFC Radio. As the cross comes in from Southport, headed up into the air by Danilo, only half cleared, still not properly away. Eventually Ryan Toulson is there to get his foot through it. Just a little bit shaky from the Guiseley backline though. Toulson has to try and make the challenge, doesn't do it well against Nolan. Now Southport on this left-hand side, looking to get the ball into the box. Now with Armand. Now Stockton. Stockton turns and was shot straight against Adam Lockwood. Back to Challoner. These Guiseley need to push out the ball with Gary Jones. Back to Andy Wright inside the Southport half. So Guiseley done relatively well at rebuffing that Southport attack. Now Guiseley look to counter-attack. Liam Dickinson plays it out to Brooksby on that right-hand side. Dickinson makes his run forward. He's got Hatfield in there instead. The touch from Brooksby is a poor one. He's looking at the referee to say that he was blocked off, but for me, he just overhit that and lost control of the ball.
Now, we used to have a manager, Chris, who said that the games were won and lost in the first and last 10 minutes of each half. And I think this is an important little spell now for Guiseley. You know, Southport have had a couple of chances, opened up 1 or 2 gaps in the Guiseley defence. I think there's an enormous difference in this game between going 1-0 up at half-time and going in 1-1. I think Southport know that as well, and they've been trying to push forward a little bit in the last few minutes, which is why Guiseley just had the chance they did to get in behind.
We've got 7 minutes left of this first half, and if Guiseley can either add to it or at the very least keep it at this, then I think Mark Bauer will be relatively pleased with the first half performance from his side. It's not been a classic Guiseley performance, but a lead at half-time is not to be sniffed at. Now Armand, good little link-up play with Cole Stockton. Stockton continues his run, going to put Drench under pressure. Drench does well, clears it first time. There's a kick out there from Mel. Play continues as well. Hatfield now makes the run into the box. Goalkeeper does very well. I thought the referee was going to blow it for a free kick. He didn't do so, and the ball just found its way to the feet of Will Hatfield, who kept on running but couldn't poke the ball beyond the goalkeeper.
That was a great run by Hatfield, who's shown that he's got a good left foot on him as well in recent weeks with the goal he scored. In fact, this time last week, But I was like you, I was a bit surprised that nothing was done for the handbags initiated by Wayne Brooksby. This one will see a card, though, I think.
Yeah, it's Adam Lockwood that's brought down Louis Armand, the Southport number 17, who's troubled, and Lockwood has gone into the book, the captain for Guiseley.
Oh, he's gone to ground in the tackle just outside of the box and not got the ball. I'm afraid that that does only end in a yellow card. And it's out to the side of the box, so it's going to be a cross rather than a shot, I would imagine, from this set piece. Southport are loading the box accordingly. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, now they're bound to try and get the big man up from the back. Two of the most experienced players in the Guiseley ranks in the book. 40 minutes on the clock. Gary Jones stepping over the ball. Let's take this free kick, right-footed it is. Gary Jones delivers it towards the back post. It's a hard one. Thompson gets his own, I think, and it goes over the top for a goal kick.
Well, that was a good opportunity, just only a little bit over the crossbar. Drench was happy, obviously, to let it go over. And only just dropped down onto the roof of the net. Not very deep nets here, so obviously wasn't far away.
It was a decent ball in, though, from Gary Jones. It's exactly what you get from a player of his calibre. Even, you know, as I say, he's 38, he's no spring chicken, but when it comes to set-piece deliveries, he's up there with the best in this league.
Yeah, and that kind of touch doesn't go away, does it, towards the end of your career? While some of the energy and stamina might.
Here's Hatfield. Hatfield's brought down. He's been brought down by Ben Davies. Play continues. Cross comes in. Maris is in that. Cleared away-ish by Southport. In fact, they've got themselves a throw-in. But people are wondering, and can't blame them, where the advantage is, because Will Hatfield was scythed down. And bearing in mind the bookings that we've seen given to Dickinson and Lockwood, I'm alarmed that nothing came from that. No free kick, the advantage was played and lost, Nick, but nothing came of it, and not even a booking.
The advantage was played because Guiseley were in possession, but they were so wide out towards the touchline that it was going to be very difficult to make anything of it, actually, because half the players stopped, assuming there would be a free kick. They did manage to get a cross in. The referee's talking to both the guys, the captain and the offending Southport player now. Not doing anything with... oh, in fact, it wasn't the player. It was their captain as well, Andy Wright, I think, telling both captains to make sure their teams calm down. But I think that'll be the end of it. And like you, Chris, I wondered whether there might have been a yellow card there.
I think it's just in comparing the yellow card instance we've had and that one. It was a clear lunge. I think it was Davis that brought down Hatfield when he was almost in full flow. Surprising. Meanwhile, the free kick has been taken by Southport. Rob Atkinson does well, though. Very well indeed, actually, to retrieve possession. Just knocks that back to Stephen Drench. Drench goes long. Once again, looking for Dickinson. Goes beyond him towards Brooksby. Jones plays it forward for Southport. Now Davis, crossfield pass, looking to find Andri Jones over on this right side, up against Danny Lowe. Danny Lowe's had a fairly good game against him so far. He's cleared the ball away only as far as China. Now Gary Jones. Jones looks to play it in towards Andri. It's been defended well by Guiseley. Dickinson goes down, pokes the ball back to Hatfield. Ball spread over to Ryan Toulson on the right side, making a good run forward from the right back position. Midway inside the Southport half. Back now to Brooksby. Now looking at the ball first time towards Hatfield. Does well there, Will Hatfield. Back out to the right to find Toulson. That is a shame because it was a really good passing move from Guiseley. In the end, the cross was god-awful, frankly.
Yeah, he overcooked it, didn't he? There's a few of spice, and it's getting the crowd.
It's possibly needed that two teams. The Southport now look to come. Steve Drench does well, gets down to it. Away from goal and out. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, and the game has opened in the last few minutes. Obviously, Southport pressing for the equal. And that was a good save, Stephen Drench.
Resulting throw isn't a great one, and that's 44 on the clock. 1, 2 at the absolute most, but probably just the 1 minute of it.
Is so far.
We'll find out fairly soon. As Dickinson looks to flick the ball on, Brooksby will give chase. And Andy Wright is forced to put that out, hits the floodlight stanchion and comes back onto the pitch, perfectly into the arms of Wayne Brooksby. Ryan Toulson will come forward to once again try and launch this into the box, you would imagine.
And Guiseley trying not to commit too many men forward, though.
They've gone short. And now Brooksby finds Hatfield. Hatfield on the right-hand side, looks to pull the ball back across, takes the deflection, now to George Maris, the debutant, comes to Boschel. Boschel smashes it first time. It was a good height, but that's going to sting in the morning, as it ricochets out for a throw-in off a Southport player. 2 minutes of added time, which we are into. Throw-in taken. Now Toulson into Hatfield. Hatfield tries to turn. Referee gives a free kick. The assist on that far side, it's noted to say, did absolutely nothing to award the free kick, and he was in a much better position, frankly. We won't complain too much.
Well, the player had his back to it, and he didn't have his arms up. They were sort of down, sort of waist height. I feel a little bit like the Southport player's been slightly hard done by that.
Yeah, if that went against you, you'd feel rather aggrieved, and even more so if this goal goes in. Sorry, if the free kick leads to a goal for Guiseley. Brooksby stood over it, pulls it back to the edge of the box, finds Boschel, and Boschel has got a 6-point conversion.
I was going to make a Rugby World Cup joke there as well. That's good. We're really on the same page tonight. It's good.
Much to Colin's disapproval.
It was right between the posts, wasn't it? And about 30 yards above.
It was an excellent conversion.
I don't think Colin's going to let us come back for the second half, Chris.
We should...
Certainly, he's not going to let me.
I reckon Danny Boschel, if he's got some Namibian heritage in him, he'll make a good addition to the side at this World Cup.
Not Japanese, is he?
What a performance.
Yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
let's not digress entirely.
Oh, God, it's all gone a bit egg-shaped.
We've got a throw-in for Guiseley, which Danny Lowe will take. It's well inside the Guiseley half. Liam Dickinson does well, flicks it on. Maris will chase. Up against Josh Thompson, though, and it's cleared away. Only out as far as Armand. Rob Atkinson will have to do well here. The flag. I think the flag went up there against Armand.
Yeah, offside against the Southport man. I think that might be it for the first half now. Drench is wandering across to place the ball for the free kick just on the edge of the deep.
Absolutely. So, as we said before, do get in touch with us here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Just tweet us at Guiseley Radio. Let us know your thoughts on the views and on the commentary as well. As the referee blows the half-time whistle and the Lions have themselves a 1-goal lead. Liam Dickinson's free kick 17 minutes in is all that separates the two sides on the score sheet. It's been a relatively competitive game, fairly even between these two sides, both who took points at the weekend. But half-time here at Nethermore is Guiseley 1, Southport 0.
As you say, Chris, it's not been a classic first half, but it's been competitive. I think Guiseley deserve to be ahead, but equally, if it was still 0-0, I don't think either team would feel hard done by. Southport only really had that one chance towards the very end of the half as they were pressing to go in level. But very finely poised, I'd say, for the second half. Good performances so far from Dickinson and from Hatfield. Brooksby and Maris need to get into the game a little bit more, give Guiseley a little bit more width. Consistently out there, keep the ball moving nice and quickly on the break. And for Southport, they know they need to do a better job of breaking down that Guiseley defence. They've looked a little bit more dangerous down on the left towards the end of the half, and Louis Armand needs to maybe get into some more attacking positions down the right for them after half time.
Absolutely. Well, we'll quickly run through the half-time scores across the Vanarama National League. Then we'll just leave you for a brew. Frankly, I think we could do with it. It's turning a little bit nippy. And then we will be back with second half commentary. But for now, half-time scores in the Vanarama National League. Braintree 0, Woking 0. Bromley 1, Kidderminster Harriers 1. Eastleigh 1, Dover 1. Forest Green Rovers 0, Cheltenham Town 1. Guiseley 1, Southport 0. Halifax 0, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City 1, Altrincham 1. Macclesfield 0, Barrow 0. Torquay 0, Borehamwood 1. Tranmere 1, Aldershot Town 1. Welling United 1, Chester 0. And Wrexham 0, Grimsby 0. So that gives you the up-to-date half-time scores across the Vanarama National League. We'll be back with you in around 5 or 10 minutes' time here on Guiseley AFC Radio with full second half coverage. Welcome back to Nethermore here for Guiseley AFC versus Southport. The half-time score, 1-0 to the Lions. A Liam Dickinson free kick on 17 minutes is what broke the deadlock. And from then on, Nick, we possibly need that second goal, do you feel? Go on, I'll wait for you to finish your hobnob and drink your brew.
Well, you haven't done that, and I'm not even sat down, but never mind. I think Southport know they'll have been sent out with the job. They need to get back into the game as soon as they possibly can. They've not been on a good run of form. Table position shows that. So they know that they've got to really try and take the first sort of 10, 15 minutes of the game and try and force their way back into it. And of course, guys, they don't have a good record at the start of this season in those crucial moments at the end or the beginning of a half. I'm thinking of Aldershot, where we came out full of energy and were deflated a few moments into the second half.
Same happened against Gateshead.
Exactly. So this is a really important kind of first opening period to the second half for Guiseley. I think they might begin to settle down before we ramp up to a nervy conclusion if it stays 1-0. But a worst-case scenario, really, right now would be for Guiseley to concede in the first few moments.
Absolutely. We're speaking to colleagues from Southport. He said that the bonus at this stage is that Southport have 11 men on the pitch. We mentioned their indiscipline earlier on.
Yeah, and they'll obviously want to keep it that way. Guys, you've got a couple of men on bookings as well. Obviously, if Southport have any pace up front, they'll be wanting to try it against Adam Lockwood, who's on a booking.
Well, we are back underway here at Nethermore. You're listening to Guiseley AFC radio commentary team of myself, Chris Bell, and alongside me, Nik Keefe, as the ball is flicked on by a Southport head in towards Louis Armand. Armand goes for goal. Armand strikes the base of the post. And we were just talking about Guiseley not switching on at the start of a half. That was an excellent effort from Louis Armand, but far too close for comfort. Hits the base of the post.
Well, I said at the end of the first half, I wanted to see a little bit more from Armand down on the right. He's caught Guiseley napping. Really only misfortune has seen it cannon off the inside of the foot of the post and come back out.
Corner now for Southport. Gary Jones, the veteran midfielder, the man stood over it, delivers it right-footed. It's a good delivery, headed away by, I think it was Liam Dickinson that was basically stood in front of Stephen Drench doing his defensive duty. And Southport still in possession. Now with Andre Jones. Andre Jones goes for goal, looks to curl it. Good effort, just wide the upright though. Steve Drench was scrambling.
And that was a serious shot as well. That had some real pace and whip behind it. Drench will have been glad to see that go past his right post. Guys are under all sorts of pressure. Southport doing exactly what they should be doing at the start of the second half.
So, about Guiseley switching on from the start of the half, not really happened, if we're completely honest, has it?
Well, no, but if they can weather the early storm, then maybe they'll settle back down. But they absolutely
can't carry on like this.
They absolutely need to not carry on as they've started.
Stephen Drench. Liam Dickinson flicks the ball on from Stephen Drench's goal kick. Cleared away by Southport. Goes out of touch off Armand for a throw-in for Guiseley. Ryan Toulson will take. Goes to Jake Lawler inside. Back now to Toulson. But you've got to do better than that. The touch wasn't there at all. And it's gone straight out of play for a throw. When Toulson had a really poor touch, the ball back in play now through Southport. Now Armand, number 17, he's looking very lively in the opening exchanges. Rutherford now comes to the edge of the box. Stockton looking to get on the end of the ball from Andre Jones. Dealt with by Guiseley. Only half cleared away as they look to come down the left-hand side, but there's nobody there. It's a woeful ball forward. Or hope. There was nobody there.
No,
nobody within 50 yards of getting on the end of that.
I think Maris has actually done the only thing he could do there. He'd gone out to the touchline. He knew there was no one up there, so he rolled it along the ground into the channel just to give the Guiseley players a chance to squeeze out.
Now Lawler, good ball through, looking to find Maris. Maris can keep this in play, does well, turns back onto his right, pulls the ball across, headed away and behind by Josh Thompson. And behind for a Guiseley corner. They've really turned defence into attack there.
Yeah, and of course, if a team's pouring forward trying to get an equaliser, then there are going to be opportunities to catch them on the break. And that's led to a Guiseley corner.
So Wayne Brooksby comes across with the ball to take this corner kick. Danny Boschel Goes close as the short option. The ball instead comes in, headed by Adam Lockwood towards goal. Takes a deflection out for another Guiseley corner.
Yeah, the box absolutely packed. Only 2 Southport players not in it.
Still waiting for the delivery. It comes in from Brooksby. It's a low one to the edge of the box. Not a bad ball. Difficult one to control though, and it comes back out to Brooksby. Brooksby then delivers another cross in towards the back post. Plenty of players there, but it is dealt with by Southport. Boschel just knocks that back. Now Hatfield goes back to Danny Lowe. Now the ball in field. Finds Atkinson still lurking around the edge of the Southport 18-yard box. Ball over on that that left-hand side. Cross comes in, nobody there. It just trickles all the way through. Wasn't a bad ball in though. If somebody was there, it was always in trouble.
No, and it reminds Southport that they can't afford to commit too many men forward, because Guiseley have shown that there's going to be opportunities for them if Southport push out too far. It's an intriguing little passage of play actually at the moment.
So we'll quickly run through the 2 team lineups for the visitors. Southport: John Viscosi in goal, then Matty Challoner, Liam Nolan, Josh Thompson, Andy Wright, Cole Stockton, Gary Jones, Paul Rutherford, Louis Armand, Android Jones and Ben Davis. And the starting 11 for Guiseley: Steve Drench, Ryan Toulson, Danny Lowe, Adam Lockwood, Jake Lawler, Wayne Brooksby, Danny Boschel, Will Hatfield, debutant George Maris, Liam Dickinson and Rob Atkinson. The ball looking to be fed through to Rutherford, but Toulson does well. Now with Lawler. Simple ball to the halfway line with Toulson. Plays the 1-2 with Wayne Brooksby. So Toulson goes in field, looking to find Boschel. Boschel does well, gets the ball forward up towards George Maris. And now the ball with Danny Lowe. Over on that left-hand side. All the way back now to Rob Atkinson. Boschel pushes forward out on this right-hand side, loses his footing as the ball comes out towards him, but it's been intercepted well by a Southport man. And now Louis Armand brings it forward and gets inside the Guiseley box. Still Louis Armand goes for goal, and that is awful. From that kind of area, you need to be testing the goalkeeper. And Louis Armand has missed a golden opportunity.
Well, 2 awful decisions in a row by Guiseley players. Firstly, the terrible pass from Rob Atkinson at the end of what was a really good passing move from the home side. And then Danny Boschel, the ball coming towards his feet, thought he was safe to leave it and turn in order to play it back to the keeper. Didn't realise, I don't think, that Armand was there on his shoulder. And in the end, it was a complete let-off.
It was a wasted chance from Louis Armand, but you said you wanted to see more of him. He certainly looked lively in the opening 6.5 minutes of this second half.
I'll admit it's a bit of a fix. I signed Louis Armand about half a dozen times on Football Manager, so I'm sure he's a good player.
He's one of those players that when you're in the lower leagues, we've all done it. I think I have as well, to be honest, mate.
That's the level of knowledge you're dealing with. It's us 2 and Sam Allardyce doing our scouting on Football Manager.
No, seriously, it helps. You pick up names at least doing that.
Absolutely.
Ball goes forward, looking to find Liam Dickinson. I've never signed him, just for the record.
No. Well, you didn't know how good he was, did you? He doesn't have pink boots in the game.
It's lucky if he has any boots in the game. Now with Danny Lowe, with the throw in midway inside.
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, me neither. We've descended into chaos again.
Already.
We've only played 7.5 minutes of the second half.
Oh.
Still, it's 1-0, if you're just tuning in. 1-0 to Guiseley. Liam Dickinson, the man with the bright pink boots, as we've now established, with the free kick. About 17 or 18 minutes way through the first half. Stunning goal. It looked it from our angle. Free kick now for Guiseley. Goes up towards Brooksby. Brooksby looks to knock it back in field. Hatfield tries to link it with Boschel. Possibly should have done better by trying to get the shot off, frankly, rather than overplaying it. And now Southport look to come forward, but Cole Stockton gives that away cheaply. It's a great first-time pass forward to find Wayne Brooksby over on this right-hand side. Brooksby, his touch has been a poor one. He almost loses his foot in there, pulls it back across. Header from Hatfield. I would, and maybe the word head is a bit hopeful, though. I think he just hit him rather than he aimed to get on that.
What a great vision by Jake Lawler with the pass over the top, though, turning and finding Brooksby 30 yards away out diagonally towards the corner.
Now, Wright spreads the ball to Matty Challoner. He goes down the line looking to find Andrai Jones. The ball goes out for a Guiseley throw. Challenge comes in from a Southport man, gives away the free kick. It was George Maris that was on the receiving end of that tackle.
Yeah. Sort of a strange challenge. It was late, and then Maris tried to stay on his feet, and it all seemed to happen in slow motion.
Long ball forward, looking to find the run of Will Hatfield. Cleared away by Josh Thompson.
Lions throw in. If Danny Lowe can get a few yards on this one into the box, this could be dangerous.
So the throw in goes short. Danny Lowe plays that back to Atkinson. Just allows Southport to try and push out slightly. The ball played forward by Atkinson. Not a great ball all the way through to John Viscosi. Now Andy Wright struggling to find an option. Goes infield and finds Gary Jones. Goes back to Thompson. Across to his centre half partner and the captain for Southport, Wright. Just to play long ball, looking to find Andrai Jones, but Danny Lowe does well. Gets rid, and Guiseley look to try and keep possession for a bit. With George Maris on the left-hand side. Uses his pace, comes in field, goes for goal, and that was a stunning effort. Not far wide at all there. Great effort from George Maris. He did well to get away from three Southport players before unleashing an almighty shot with his right foot. A stunning effort, Nick.
Well, in the first half, he had one effort on his right, and I said, well, he needn't be too hard on himself. We think he's a left winger, and maybe his right foot isn't his strongest. I tell you, that shot with his right suggests maybe he was right to be disappointed if he's got shots like that in him.
Absolutely sensational effort from George Maris. He was at least 25, 30 yards out.
Yeah, and it was obvious Southport didn't know how to defend it, and they don't know how to defend right now either.
Liam Dickinson plays the ball through to Ryan Brooksby. Brooksby forces a save from Viscosi. Possibly should have done better. It's not been cleared away, and at the second attempt it is, and Gary Jones will knock this away. Southport all of a sudden living a little bit dangerously at the back. Guiseley very much with the tails up and in the ascendancy.
Well, this is the game that we're going to see. Southport chasing the game. They know they're a team out of form, low on confidence, pushing forward. Gaps are opening up. We've seen a really good second half so far.
That's 56 minutes gone. 11 into the second half. Now Lawler battling with Gary Jones in the centre of the park. Free kick is given in Gary Jones' favour. He takes the free kick quickly, but the referee has just pulled that back.
Well, I wasn't sure about the free kick, but one way of evening it up is by not letting them take it when they want to. in return, they've moved it forward about 20 yards.
I think 20 is a bit of an exaggeration. About 10. And the referee does order Gary Jones to take it back a bit, but Gary Jones will stand this. It's a very high defensive line that Guiseley are being forced to play. As Gary Jones does lift the free kick in. Liam Dickinson up and away and fully cleared away by Danny Lowe. He's got Maris and the pace of him really putting the pressure on Gary Jones. Still Maris chases, closes down John Viscosi. He clears it first time. It certainly seems to go out. It has gone out for a throw. But it's been given in Southport's favour.
Yeah, absolutely. Danny Lowe couldn't keep it in there.
Now Andrai Jones goes down.
And we're just seeing a few more little fouls, a few little free kicks there.
What's that for, though? Andrai Jones went down.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure either team was quite expecting that, and we don't want to interrupt the rhythm of what's been really good football so far since half-time.
Liam Dickinson with an excellent flick on then. There's about 4 forward rolls to prevent hurting himself on the way down. Pretty much all it was for, I think. Wayne Brooksby looks to try and keep the ball in play. But it goes out for a Southport throw. It's been taken quickly. Back to Nolan. Nolan plays it back to right. Not entirely sure he wanted that. But Southport now look to come away. Liam Nolan. Now with Matty Challoner. Goes back to Josh Thompson. Goes in field, finds Rutherford. Former Chester player. Now Thompson up to the halfway line. Then that final ball isn't a great one, but Southport do manage to regain possession. Now Andre Jones. Now Nolan. Now Gary Jones. Southport with the ball on there on that right-hand side. Look to play the ball in behind the back line. Try and get Cole Stockton away. But down low does well. Shoots him off. And lets it roll out for a goal kick.
And maybe the game's just going to settle down a bit after that frantic start to the half. And guys, you really need to remember they've not actually made that many chances. They've not had many shots on target.
Yeah, John Viscosi, for a debutant keeper, he's had a fairly easy night's work so far, to be honest.
And so at some point, I think the Lions are going to have to try and take another goal if they want to settle into the lead. I'm just pausing because there's scrapping going on the edge of the box. I mean, both teams are really fighting for this at the moment. It's a very competitive game. Obviously, Southport know they need to get points anywhere they possibly can, and they would divide a trip to Guiseley as a place to try and get a draw, you would think, at least.
Again, speaking to the Southport media guys earlier on, they were saying that from their point of view, with the exception of Halifax, they've played, the top teams in the league so far this season, the top half teams. And obviously, they were very disappointed to be 2-0 up and then throw that away at the Shea on Saturday. But of course, from their point of view, it was going down to 10 men that killed them.
Speaking of them, Neil Aspin's in the crowd today. He's sat in the main stand, just away to our right, past him at half time. He's under in a big thick coat, using another one as a sort of a shawl across his legs.
One question.
Yeah.
Why? Just to take in the football, I think.
Yeah, I would think so. I don't want to say anything churlish, but he certainly knows a few of the players there because he let them go to us.
Southport look to come forward. It's been defended relatively well by Guiseley. The ball goes out of play for Southport player.
And the Halifax fans will know the budget situation and the squad situation much better than we do, obviously. But really surprised they let Will Hatfield go. He looks like a proper player since we've signed him.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a loan spell at the Shea last season, and I know, seen the forums for Halifax, that a few of their fans were very disappointed that Halifax didn't try and approach him when he was there and available on a free transfer after his contract had expired from Accrington Stanley. Also interesting to note as well that it has to be said, having looked at the forums, that one or two FC Halifax fans had mentioned that they wouldn't mind if Mark Bauer was there, but let's be fair, it's not going to happen. He loves it here.
No, of course.
And we love him here.
Yeah, of course they wouldn't mind, but they wouldn't mind if they had Arsene Wenger either.
Now Guiseley just clear the ball. Rob Atkinson, rather than getting any distance downfield, instead he opts to just put it out for a throw midway inside the Guiseley half. 62 minutes on the clock. Now Armand goes for goal, pulls it wide, not troubling Steve Drench.
No, and if I was a Halifax fan, I'd be looking at the talented young managers in the area and wondering if we could attract them as well. But
hands off.
Yeah, I have to say, I wouldn't see the attraction at this specific point in history. Obviously they're a club that's traditionally got a bigger fan base. But right now, at this point in time, I think I'd want to, if I was Mark, I'd want to carry on with what I was doing that was going so well.
Well, absolutely, because with everything around the club as well, it's an exciting time to be involved with the football club.
Absolutely.
Well, the ball with Southport over on that right-hand side. Cross comes in, dangerous wicked ball. Goes all the way out for a goal kick. I thought it had gone out, but the Southport player was certainly trying to act like it had stayed in play. But it was a good low ball, low cross from the right-hand side from Louis Armand.
But the game has settled down a bit now, hasn't it? After that frantic opening, after the half-time break, it's condensed a little bit more in midfield. Both teams happy to keep men slightly further back, not commit so many bodies forward.
That's a good ball down the right-hand side for Southport. Finds Andrai Jones. He pulls the ball across, looking for Cole Stockton. Takes the deflection. And he's out for a Southport throw. Throwing taken. Comes back to China. And now to Gary Jones. But Jones is always going to struggle to get that. Does well. Just slides in. Knocks it back to a teammate. Now Andy Wright. Now Thompson. Has to play the ball forward. It breaks now for George Maris. Now Lawler into Danny Boschel. Back to Danny Lowe at left back. Midway inside the Guiseley half. Now Lockwood. Quick look over to subs benches. Liam Dickinson does well to bring the ball down there, but then just leaves it behind. Great sliding tackle from Roe Atkinson. When Cole Stockton was looking likely to try and get in on goal, it was an excellent tackle from the former Accrington man.
Stockton trying to split the central defenders there. And a really good covering challenge, as you say, by Atkinson.
Liam Dickinson does well, holds off for challenger Ben Davis to bring the ball down. But now Dickinson just haunched over slightly. Play continues. Ryan Toulson now with Brooksby. Now to Dickinson, just stands still, takes a touch. Doesn't look particularly comfortable, but they keep giving the ball back to him. Not sure he wants it at the moment. Now with Toulson again, looks to slip the ball through to Danny Boschel. Good defensive work from Southport. Toulson putting them under pressure, and in the end, the ball goes out and Liam Dickinson drops down. He was on his haunches. He doesn't look comfortable at all.
No,
it's interesting, isn't it? The ball went out and then he dropped to the ground.
Well, he was trying to carry on. He was trying to carry on taking part, but I think in the end he decided he needed some treatment. Made sure he'd caught the referee's eye, and then went down looking quite uncomfortable, like he didn't really want to bend his legs. I mean, he walks like a man who's just spotted a sofa at the end of a long day of hiking at the best of times. But I think he's actually hurt at the moment.
That's an excellent analogy, but not in good circumstances.
No, looks like his left knee actually, which would explain why when he went down for treatment, he dropped straight onto his back without crouching down properly. And Martin Stringfellow just testing out his motion in his leg there, doing all the different tests you do to check all the different ligaments are still attached and working properly. He's given him the thumbs up.
Well, the first change of the game has been made by Southport. Jamie Allen has come on, number 7, to replace Matty China, the number 2, the right back. Liam Dickinson is back on his feet, which is good to see. We're not going to see a Guiseley change just yet. Now Brooksby finds Lawler. Breaks nicely to Wayne Brooksby, but I don't know what he's saying, and he's giving a free kick.
No, I'm baffled by that. I'm baffled by that.
There's been 3 or 4 instances like that where literally just stopped play, pointed, and we're all wondering why.
Maybe they'll make sense when we see them back in the video footage. Although I doubt that particular one's going to make the highlights.
So yeah, just going to quickly run through the 2 subs benches. So remaining subs for Southport: Courtney Cameron, Charlie Joyce, Will Beasley, and the sub-keeper Andy Coughlin. And then for Guiseley on the bench: Adam Boyes, Tom Craddock, Nicky Boschel, Zach Thompson, and the Guiseley number 2 keeper Dan Atkinson. Now Davis loses the ball. Dickinson does well, finds Brooksby. Cleared long by Ryan Toulson, just gets rid and clears the danger. George Maris putting Thompson under pressure. The goalkeeper does well, Viscosi. Probably not exactly what he wanted to do. The ball's put out accidentally by Andy White. Wasn't a particularly good pass to Ben Davis. Throw-in taken quickly by Toulson. Plays 1-2 with Will Hatfield. All the way back now to Roe Atkinson. He goes even further back to the goalkeeper, Stephen Drench. So from a fairly decent position from a throw, the ball goes back to Drench and he's lofted long downfield. Liam Dickinson loses the header. A couple of shouts for climbing on Liam Dickinson there, but frankly, if you're going to win a header, you're going to have to try and climb him. It's like a ladder. Now Rutherford. Back to Liam Nolan. Squares that across to Josh Thompson. And he goes back to Andy Wright. Don't forget, get in touch with us on Twitter at Guiseley AFC Radio. Sorry, at Guiseley Radio. That's the Guiseley AFC Radio Twitter account. Let us know your thoughts and views on the match, on the commentary, although, you know, be kind.
Well, not too much on the commentary, yeah, but Stuart Farnworth's been back in touch again, saying he thinks if Dicko carries on, he'll be up for Player of the Season. And you'll be pleased to know he's back on the pitch and taking a full part again now. He seems to be moving a lot more freely than before.
Well, a free kick has been given in Southport's favour, much to the disgust of the Guiseley fans around me.
And on that subject, Si Shaw's been in touch to say the referee needs to have a word with himself. A proper muppet, not the Miss Piggy type we've been hearing about, but...
Careful, where are you going with this?
Nowhere good. I'm stopping now.
Oh.
That was
free kick's taken, low ball comes in from Armand. Goes back through to him. It's been intercepted though by Rutherford. Excellent turn on the ball. Pulls the ball back across. Guiseley need to clear the lines. And now Maris up against Gary Jones. In terms of a out-and-out race, there should only be one winner there, but the ball's been played to the left-hand side. Hatfield charging through the middle, looking to get on the end of this ball. Nodded back by Ben Davis to the goalkeeper, John Viscosi.
Yeah, well shepherded by the Southport defence. Will Hatfield providing the presence up there, because Dickinson's been tracking back an awful lot in this game, providing the extra physical presence and height in the box. Yeah, it means Hatfield has really been doing the job of a second striker as well as a third midfielder, and he's not stopped running.
Absolutely, both Liam Dickinson and Will Hatfield, excellent work rates. As Dickinson flicks the ball on, then has to try and chase himself.
Yeah, flicks it onto himself, adding to the legend.
Sadly, he couldn't get onto the end of it himself, though. That would have been impressive. It'd been like the Flash.
It would.
Great ball out to this right-hand side from Jake Lawler. Finds Wayne Brooksby. Toulson makes the overlapping run. It's a little bit overhit, but still, guys, they can't keep the pressure on. Nice back heel to Brooksby. Brooksby delivers the ball across. Nobody there. Cleared away by Southport. Only out as far as Maris, though. And now the ball with Danny Boschel. Finds Toulson. Back to Boschel. A couple of white shirts inside, well, around the edge of the box. They were inside, but they've had to move out with Southport's defensive line, and the offside goes up. And the offside flag goes up against Ryan Toulson in a position where, frankly, he shouldn't have been offside.
No, he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been, I agree.
I agree, yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Sorry, I was just reading, someone was repeating back my line about Liam Dickinson to me on Twitter, and I was thinking I was quite pleased with it, actually.
Which line was that? Come on, we know you want to get it out again.
He walks like a man who's seen a sofa at the end of a long day. And he does look at him with his shoulders.
That's how I feel most days, to be honest.
Along, flat-footed. Yeah, but you're not a semi-pro athlete.
I think any would have used the word athlete in a sentence with me involves probably pushing it, mate.
But you can't question Dickinson's contribution to the game.
I am a sofa connoisseur, however. Gotta love a good sit down.
So what?
A sofa connoisseur. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the point is the game is still going on, by the way. You've not completely lost us. It is still 1-0 to Guiseley. As Nick completely loses composure. Armand comes forward. Great tackle from Roe Atkinson.
I heard something completely different. It's fine. It's fine.
You can explain that one to me off air later.
Yeah.
Now the ball with Gary Jones. Looks to come forward. Plays a good ball to Andrai Jones. Now the ball in field. Armand over on the right hand side. Does well, gets between two, pulls the ball back across. Nobody there. Comes all the way to Ben Davies. Ben Davies pulls it back. Wayne Brooksby does well. He just needs to get rid. And that's exactly what he does. Only as far as Andy Wright. Wright nods it down. Finds Rutherford. Rutherford still looking to come forward. He gets inside the 18-yard box. Pulls it back across to Cole Stockton. He laid it off to Jones. Jones's shot took a deflection on its way through. Guiseley struggling at the moment to clear their lines. And now with Davis. Goes all the way back to Josh Thompson. That takes a bit of the pressure off Guiseley for a moment at least. Guiseley not pushing forward though as much as they perhaps should have been at this moment in time. They need to find a way to take the pressure off because Southport in the ascendancy really putting the pressure on. Not creating too many chances with it, but they are keeping possession.
No, and I think Mark's realised that the game is changing a little bit. He's getting ready to make a change. One of the substitutes warming up. I think it looks like Adam Boyes.
Yeah, I think you may well be right.
In which case, I would suggest that might actually be for Dickinson. His night might be done. We know Adam Boyes is happy to chase defenders and get challenges in up front and keep that kind of good defensive work that Dickinson's been doing going.
Ball forward from Guiseley goes all the way through to John Viscosa. He clears it now back downfield. Andy Wright plays the ball, looking to find Louis Armand. Battling with Rob Atkinson. Unnecessary handbags there between Atkinson and Armand. The free kick goes in Guiseley's favour. And you'd think now we probably will see this Guiseley change. And it is going to be Liam Dickinson, the man who will go off. Doesn't seem to be happening just yet. Yet now it is. And it is Adam Boyes, the number 9, that's coming on.
No, it very much is, and Dicko's made sure he's come all the way over to the main stand with his back to the bench, pretending he didn't know he was about to come off. He's trudged all the way over here so he can trudge all the way back over there in absolutely no hurry. I think the referee might go and have a word with him in a bit.
He's just looking forward to that nice cushy seat on the bench.
He is, and good opportunity for Adam Boyes actually now to come and play in the position he had as his own all of last season, with Hatfield in supporting behind him. Feels like he's got a little bit of a point to prove. Wants to earn his place back.
I think he does, to be honest. I mean, what's he got this season? Just the one goal. I think the excellent header it was against Kidderminster, but it's the only goal to his name so far this season.
Well, the criticism has been that he and Tom Craddock, in fairness, have had chances and not taken enough of them. But the thing with strikers is you don't always get them into their rhythm by putting them in and out of the team. That's a difficult thing to try and manage because Mark's got to go with what's working on the day. But for Adam, I'm sure he'd rather have a run of games to get his sharpness in front of goal back.
24 goals last season in the Conference North of the National League North, as it is now. Just the one so far in this opening 10, 11 games that we've played so far. Almost a quarter of the way through the season already. It's absolutely staggering how quickly that's come about as Southport look to come forward. Good tackle or good interception from Ryan Toulson. On the ball with Nolan. Now Rutherford goes across to Android Jones. Now Gary Jones. Goes back in field. Armand over on that right hand side. Now Jamie Allen back inside now to Android Jones. Jones goes for goal. Not too far over the top, but you think if it was on target, Stephen Jenks would have at the very least tipped that over the crossbar.
No, and at some point, for all the joviality, actually, we've got to remember that this game is 1-0. It's only going to take one good chance for Southport to change the direction of this game completely, potentially.
Well, we were talking at half-time to Dave Kendrick and to Colin Robertson as well, and we were all saying that you really felt at half-time that Guiseley need that second.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fairness, they've not had many chances, guys, in the second half.
Here comes Louis Armand now for Southport. 2 ahead of him, takes deflection off Jamie Allen, who I think was in an offside position by the looks of it, but it certainly struck his own teammate. The free kick's been given. It's Well, the flag didn't go up on that far side. It's another one of those slightly baffling free kicks that's been given, but nobody really seems to be complaining about them.
No, there wasn't a flag for an offside. I don't know exactly what it was given for, but
struck an arm somewhere, maybe.
I will say that is a deflection that could go absolutely anywhere, and if it struck an arm and gone away from goal, then we've been lucky. But on another occasion, it could have left Drench flat-footed.
Absolutely. As Brooksby tries to nod the ball down the line, instead it just goes too far and out of play for a Southport throw. We've played 78 minutes here at Nethermore Park. Guiseley 1, Southport 0 here on Guiseley AFC Radio. Now Will Hatfield on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box, pulls it back across, goes out and behind for a Guiseley corner, and we haven't had too many of those this half.
No, good play by Adam Boys actually there, linking with Jake Lawler and onto Hatfield, forcing the corner. Of course, one tall man down now that Dickinson's off the pitch.
The corner comes in. It was Jake Lawler, I think. No, it's not. It's Adam Boys, rather, that had all the time in the world there to put that on target. And you really would expect a man that scored 24 goals last season to bury that. But it just shows, perhaps, that lack of confidence, that lack of game time.
Yeah, rhythm and confidence, as we say, so important to a striker. The goal's absolutely gaping at his mercy there. And not for the first time this season has attempted to make a glancing header and just got absolutely nowhere near enough on it. And you've got to feel sorry for him, because those will be eating away at his self-confidence.
Now Hatfield looks to break forward. Ball's fallen kindly to him. He's got Brooksby over on this right side. Instead he opts to go left to find Marius. Marius forces a save from Viscosi. It does come back to the Barnsley loanee. Ball rushed in field. Hatfield does well. Gets it to Marius though. Plays a lovely little ball back into Hatfield. Marius again picks up the ball inside the penalty area. Headed away. Or more ball to head than head to ball away by Southport. But they do get rid of the pressure. Throwing now on that far side for Guiseley.
And you can feel the tension starting to rise in the ground now. The reality is that the game hangs by a thread with just 5 minutes or so left.
Yeah, we're into the final 10. And as we said before, didn't we, so about that final 10 minutes of the half.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Guiseley keep a clean sheet in the last 10 minutes of the game, then they win. It's as simple as that. But it's not easily done, and mistakes can happen under pressure.
I think if that can happen, back-to-back clean sheets for the first time since the Altrincham and Kidderminster matches.
Would be huge, but there's a long way to go.
There is indeed. Free kick now for Guiseley. Goes up towards Lawler. Comes across to Brooksby inside the penalty area. Brooksby brings it out of the 18-yard box. Comes back now to Lawler. Now Brooksby does well. Gets away from 2-3 yellow shirts, then fortunately gets it back, pulls it back across goal, takes deflection behind for another corner.
Good pressure that by Guiseley. Lucky, as you say, to get the second chance at it, Brooksby.
He'd overplayed it, to be honest, that first time, hadn't he?
I think possibly a little bit.
So, another corner. Wayne Brooksby takes his time walking the ball to the corner flag.
I think he's going to take it short.
Danny Boshaw makes the run for the short option, then goes back towards goals. The cross does come in. Strikes Jake Lawler on the head. It's been given away by Adam Boys. Now Louis Armand can look to turn and bring the ball forward. Looks for the crossfield pass to find Rutherford, and that is an excellent ball from Louis Armand. Rutherford now on the left-hand side of the Guiseley 18-yard box, pulls it back across. Ooh, it's just about cleared away. Ben Davis's touch is horrendous, and thankfully from a Guiseley perspective it goes out of play for a throw, but we were very, very close to seeing Guiseley's poor defending then cost them. The attendance, by the way, just been announced 748. I think that's not bad at all for a Tuesday night game.
No, and it shows that the fans will come out if there's a run of results. It's been interesting watching the attendance fluctuate with the results actually already this season. It shows that there's the potential in the area. But some of those floating voters, they're not going to come if they think Guiseley are going to get thumped like the game against Aldershot. In fairness, we've been very competitive in every other game I've seen us in so far this season. Every reason to be optimistic. The question for tonight is, can we hold out to the end of the game without conceding?
Gary Jones looks to play the ball through to Armand. Armand does well, turns, plays it across to Rutherford in acres of space. Rutherford still cuts inside, goes for goal, blocked well by Ryan Toulson, and behind for a Southport corner, in the 20 or 30 so Southport fans who are behind the goal to our left-hand side.
Well, Toulson's absolutely livid. He's certain he didn't take the last touch there. The Southport fans cheered like they weren't expecting a corner as well.
Gary Jones takes the corner, plays the 1-2 with it, comes back to him. Steve Drench comes for the ball. Lockwood get a great touch. Adam Lockwood. As you say, Nick has gone down with it back on his feet, thankfully. Of course, we haven't got a great deal of centre half cover. Danny Hall has returned from his loan spell at Bradford Park Avenue. He's played 3 games there, but he has returned with what I believe is a hamstring problem. So he, frankly, the loan spell to get him some fitness worked for so long.
Yeah, great.
But as it is, he is on the treatment table as well. Now Lawler. Poor ball in field. That's given away to Armand. And now Jamie Allen can try and come forward for Southport. Plays it to Andrai Jones. Now back to Gary Jones. This ball forward is unusually poor for a man of his calibre. Wayne Brooksby looks to bring the ball forward. Ben Davis comes across, just puts that out of play.
Disappointed to see that less than 4 minutes have gone since I last checked the clock about an hour ago. It's getting tense towards the end of this.
Just 5 and a bit minutes to go, plus any added time. Wouldn't think there'd be a great deal, just the one change made by both sides. One change apiece. Adam Boyes coming on for Guiseley and Jamie Allen coming on for Southport. Now Toulson takes the throw in. Adam Boyes certainly seems to get a bit of a push in the back there from Ben Davis, but the ball rolls through, goes out of play of a Southport man for a Guiseley throw in a very good position. But at this stage, Nick, would you try and work it in for another opportunity? Or with less than 5 minutes to go, would you be looking to hang on?
I'm never sure you actually waste enough time down in the corner to make it worthwhile.
Now Lawler looks a little bit lost on the edge of the box. Didn't have too many options. He's great ball in to Adam Boyes. Back out now to Brooksby. Brooksby delivers it. Boyes goes for the... sorry, it was Maris that went for the overhead kick. Instead it comes to Lawler. Maris goes for the overhead again. The acrobatic attempts from George Maris certainly got a certain air of quality about him. To be fair, he's not had a bad debut for me.
No, and there's a good left-footed shot in there as well from Will Hatfield.
But poor clearance, and now Louis Armand goes for goal, and that is an excellent finish from the Southport man. Guiseley have been punished from their poor defending. It was given away far too cheaply to a man of Louis Armand's calibre. That is absolute murder. And Guiseley have just stabbed themselves with that one as Louis Armand puts it beyond Steve Drench. And it's Guiseley 1, Southport 1.
Apologies if I get this wrong. I think it was Danny Boschel tracking back in the left-back position. Just wrong decision on that occasion. And it presented it on a plate unwittingly to the Southport man who took it well. Good finish into the top corner. Drench had absolutely no chance. Travelling fans absolutely elated behind the goal. And now, in the last few moments of the game, Guiseley have 1-1, just a point at home to a team well below them in the league table. And they're going to feel like an opportunity's got away from them tonight if that's the final score.
Now Lawler to Brooksby. I think Southport would feel that this would be a fairly decent point for them on the road. I suppose you've got to say that any point on the road generally is a good point. But now Jamie Allen looks to come forward. Andrai Jones makes the overlapping run. George Maris does trap back and helps stall the Southport attack as Gary Jones plays it across to Ben Davis. Davis now down to the goal scorer Armand. Tries to get between two. In the end it does take a touch. It looked like he was going out for a corner off Toulson, but he did very well to to slide in and put that out for a throw instead. Still throwing in dangerous area. Ball played across. Now Boys lays it back to Danny Boschel. Guiseley are not getting out. Sitting very, very deep. Of course, Southport are pushing men forward.
Well, Guiseley looking shell-shocked at the moment. Struggling to force the line forward. Southport look the more likely to create another good opportunity in the final moments as we speak.
A minute and a half to go, plus added time. The ball at the feet of goalkeeper Andy Viscosi. He clears it downfield. Finds Cole Stockton tussling with Atkinson. Atkinson can't get the better of him. Stockton plays it to Allen. He goes to Andrai Jones. Now the ball moves to Rutherford over on the right-hand side. Is there going to be a sting in the tail for guys in this game? And Southport look to come on the attack and steal all 3 points here at Nethermore. Gary Jones in possession. Now Thompson. Guiseley aren't pushing out them. That's just inviting pressure onto them from the visitors. Now Ben Davis. He goes back to Andy Wright. Long ball forward, looking to break the offside trap. The flag goes up. He was never going to catch that anyway, as it trickles out for what would technically have been a throw-in. But the free kick is given. And sure now, this is a chance for Guiseley to get players forward a little bit and actually get out of their own area and take some of the pressure off them. We've got less than a minute plus added time to go.
Yeah, and the board yet to go up. Only the 2 substitutions, as you say, Chris, and the brief bit of treatment to Liam Dickinson to be added on.
2, 3 maybe at most.
Maybe 3.
Well, we are going to see the ball go up in a moment or so. Meanwhile, Danny Boschel lifts it forward, looking to find Maris on that left-hand side. It's a tricky one, so it's Danny Lowe that's brought it back. He plays it back to George Maris, the low knee. Goes infield to Boschel. Somebody has to have an effort at goal here, surely. Is the ball played up towards Adam Boys? He just loses it. Just loses his bearing slightly. 3 minutes of added time, which we are just ticking into.
It's difficult to have watched Adam Boys come on there. That wasn't a good opportunity. He's backpedaling. He's trying to head it, turn it around the corner with his back slightly to goal. But even so, he hasn't looked like a man in the rhythm of his game since coming on. I think it's been difficult because it's taken away the presence up front that we had with Dickinson in the game. That's really tricky as Southport are on the attack again now.
Absolutely, are on this right-hand side. Jake Lawler's in there. I think, to be fair to Adam Boys, then it wasn't a great ball in from Danny Boschel. Guiseley have conceded a very cheap corner as Jake Lawler puts it out and behind. And say a minute into added time, going to see a change as Rutherford comes off. And coming on, Courtney Cameron. Somebody that, to my knowledge, is a very tricky winger. But he's going to come on with less than 2 minutes of added time to go. Corner from Gary Jones comes in. Isn't cleared away. It is now as Maris goes with the overhead clearance. Adam Boys has accidentally played that back into trouble. Now Stockton on this left-hand side plays a good ball into Courtney Cameron, the substitute. Can he deliver a ball? As Southport go looking for 3 points. It comes to Stockton. Stockton hits it on the volley. Goes away and behind for a goal kick.
And young George Maris is feeling the pace. I think a bit of cramp or difficulty. It's stopping him from moving happily at the moment. And it does just look like the opportunity's gone for Guiseley tonight. It looks like this is going to be the best they can hope for now. A point from a game in which they'd led for most of it. And they defended pretty well, not conceded too many chances on their goal. They've not managed to close it out unless they can get something in the final moments here. But Will Hatfield on, in fact it is Maris, lets it run out ahead of him, who isn't running. He isn't running steadily, he's running with a limp now.
40 seconds to go. And all of a sudden this has gone from what would have been a very good 3 points to a very disappointing 1 point.
Yeah.
From the position that Guiseley were in. Southport, for all the possession such that they've had in the second half, hadn't troubled too much. We've got 20 seconds of added time to go. Now Brooksby finds Toulson. Now Broyes takes a touch. It wasn't particularly great and it wasn't well received. Lawler goes to Boys. Goes to low rather than getting into the box, looking for boys. Comes across towards Wayne Brooks, but you think the referee puts the whistle to his lips and blows the full-time whistle. And the final score here is Guiseley 1, Southport 1. The Lions took the lead on the 17th minute with an excellent Liam Dickinson free kick. And after conceding very few chances to Southport, Louis Armand scored the equalising goal late on after some woeful defending and possession given away far too cheaply by Danny Boschel. So it's been a disappointing evening here at Nethermoor with a full-time score of Guiseley 1, Southport 1.
Yeah, I think we can afford to give Southport a little bit more credit for how they came out in the second half. They carried a lot more threat than in the first. They had a lot more opportunities, certainly straight after half-time and then again towards the end of the game. And I think they will feel like they've done a good job there. They came out after half-time knowing that they needed to up their pace, up their sort of attacking threat quite considerably over the first half, and they got them. They got the result that they came out looking for. In the end, I don't think 1-1 is a poor reflection of the game. As I said that during the second half, guys, they hadn't had many opportunities, but it's just disappointing to have conceded such a soft goal. After the game had been going along fairly steadily up until that point.
Yeah, I didn't mean to be disrespectful, shall we say, to Southport's play, but from the position that Guiseley were in, looking fairly comfortable, a goal up with just less than 5 or so to go.
No, it absolutely.
And the manner in which it was that one let down defensively, the poor ball from Danny Boschel.
No, it absolutely feels like 2 points dropped, and it will do to all of the players out there and the coaches on the pitch. And of course, the trick is to pick themselves up ahead of another long away trip at the weekend and go again.
Indeed. Don't forget, Guiseley are away at Braintree on Saturday. That's a game you can, of course, see it through Guiseley AFC Radio. Before we leave you, we'll quickly run through the final scores across the Vanarama National League. Braintree 2, Woking 1. These are all latest or full times. Bromley 3, Kidderminster 2. Eastleigh 2. Down to 10 men, Dover 5. So a good away win for Dover. Forest Green 2, Cheltenham 2. Guiseley 1, Southport 1. Halifax 1, Gateshead 1. Lincoln City 1, Aldrian 1. Macclesfield 1, Barrow 2. Torquay 1, Boreham Wood 2. Tranmere 3, Aldershot 1. Welling 2, Chester 0. And Wrexham 0, Grimsby 0. So from what on the balance is going to be a disappointing evening, I think, bearing in mind how long we led for. Would you agree, Nick? Overall?
Hey, it's not been a classic, Chris.
No.
But the commentary was all right.
We'll take that. Don't forget that Guiseley, as we say, back in action away on the road on Saturday. They travel to Braintree. You can hear myself and Dave Kendra bring you full match coverage of that one here on Guiseley AFC Radio. And then the next home game for the Lions is a week on Friday. They host Lincoln City on Friday, October the 2nd. That game, of course, is on BT Sport. Kickoff for that is at 7:45. Hope you can join us for the trip to Braintree on Saturday. Thanks for listening. Ta-ra.